Welcome to Namaste 2020, the Global Utsava of Indian Soft Power, brought to you by the Center for Soft Power with support from the ICCR and SVCC University. This morning we have a session on yoga. Yoga, as it was understood in between, became a mere physical practice. That is Hatha Yoga. But when you say yoga, it's a very holistic approach to a good life. And there is I won't call it a problem, but there is a situation in today's world where everybody wants authentication for any practice from the present day scientific perspective. I believe that in our culture, our very thought process was very systematized and scientific. Even our spiritual practices were practiced by our rishis in the forest, which were their labs, and the subjects was the very human mind. If you look at, I read in one of the Ayurvedic recipe books, the way they come to a conclusion about anything is, for example, if you take, say, ash gourd, for example, the ash gourd will be cooked in vessels of different mediums, like, say, right from gold, silver, earthen, brass, stoneware, and cooked on the flame from different, coming from different firewood, mango wood, etc., various. And then the pumpkin is plucked in different seasons at different times of day and fed to people of different age groups, different disease types. And after that, they come to a conclusion of what is good for whom. If this is not science, I really don't know what is science. So for this session today, we have with us Srimati Aparna Patwardhan she is the ICCR director of stationed in Bangkok of Thailand. It's been very kind of her to have come. It's the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Centre. And we have Dr. Manjunath Sharma from SVCC. I would like to first introduce Mrs. Aparna Patwardhan, and she will tell us, speak to us, and followed by that, we will have an introduction of Dr. Manjunath Sharma and his presentation. So we, and of course, I should thank the two youngsters who sang for us the invocatory piece. They were Chitravina Ravikiran students, the Patangi brothers, Madhav and Raghav. Like I mentioned yesterday, we have tried to have invocations all by youngsters, basically because they are our soft future and our soft power. So Mrs. Aparna Patwardhan is the director of Swami Vivekananda Cultural Centre, Bangkok, Thailand. After completing her engineering degree and an MBA from North Carolina, she worked in IT startups and majors such as HP and Oracle in a career that spanned over 13 years. She became a social activist and was a part of a non-profit platform for art, culture, education, health, and environment for several years, and has written in various publications on cultural and other issues. Welcome again, Madam Aparna Patwardhan. Over to you now. And thank you so much for accepting to be here.
Namaste. Thank you, Vijayalakshmi ji, for inviting me to the event of Namaste 2020. And there's also the most apt time early in the morning to have a session on yoga. Let me begin by saying that our Indian Cultural Centre is named after Swami Vivekananda, who is famously known as the modern monk, and also he was the first modern ambassador from India to the West. It was Swamiji who took yoga to the West when he went to Chicago to speak at the World Parliament of Religions in 1893. Yoga, as we all know, is a very ancient spiritual practice which originated in Sanatana Dharma. Ashtanga Yoga or classical yoga was organized from various old traditions of yoga by sage Patanjali somewhere in his Yoga Sutra, somewhere between 500 and 400 BC, they say. As you all know, it's an Indian tradition, or it's a India. Our civilization operates on the principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which in Sanskrit means the world is one family. Keeping with that tradition, yoga has been available for free for any seeker, and it is open source, so to say. Combined with the fact that yoga is so beneficial, it's probably catalyzed the spread of yoga across the world over time. A proposal to establish an International Day of Yoga was made before the General Assembly of the United Nations by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi in 2014. The UN accepted the proposal and declared 21st June to be celebrated as the International Day of Yoga thenceforth. The UN resolution on the International Day of Yoga notes the importance of individuals and populations making healthier choices and following lifestyle patterns that foster good health. Ever since IDY has been announced, the popularity of yoga has grown multifold across the world and even within India, where yoga has originated. The importance given to yoga through International Day of Yoga could not have come at a more better time, I would say. Given the growing income levels and the spending power of people, lifestyle diseases are increasing. Even mental health issues are increasing, which are being discussed everywhere, even on television these days. Physical inactivity is one of the top 10 causes of death worldwide. It's been, research says. Non-communicable diseases like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, obesity, they're rampant everywhere. In the past few decades, it's risen a lot. And as you know, due to the increasing urbanization and industrialization, pollution has also increased across the world and in cities, and most of us suffer from some sort of respiratory infections, and respiratory diseases are on the rise everywhere. The good news is that people are understanding the value of health, and they're more inclined now to take care of their health, and there is a very large growing acceptance for yoga, and people are understanding that the daily practice of yoga can cut the risk of disease and death. And what is also being accepted more in recent times, that yoga as a form of therapy, medical therapy. As you know, several yoga institutions are bringing together the ancient science of yoga and modern science together to deal with the modern health challenges of the world. Today, when there is a global health crisis in the form of COVID, I think India offers a very important, its own traditional science of yoga and Ayurveda, which have very good, beneficial impact on the immune system of people. While yoga asanas, provide benefit to the physical body and strengthen the immune system, pranayama strengthens the respiratory system, and the novel coronavirus is supposed to attack the respiratory system. So today, pranayama and yoga can play a very important role in the boosting of health of individuals. Apart from that, meditation, which is also another aspect of yoga, can play a very big role in coping with stress, which is rampant now because of what has happened due to the pandemic. Yoga has another advantage that it can be practiced anywhere. It doesn't need any special equipment like that of a gym or a large open space or nothing of the sort. It can be performed within the confines of your home, and no special equipment is needed. I would like to share a couple of experiences that we had at our cultural center. At our cultural center, we conduct yoga classes. Yoga volunteers who are yoga experts who are locally available here conduct classes at our center. And after the pandemic was declared, we were forced to take our classes online. We continued our classes online, and what happened was a lot of people subscribed to our classes from across the world. All these days, it used to be just people from within Bangkok who used to come to our classes, but now people from across the world, join the classes online. And because of the lockdown conditions, since people could not go out, what they could sit in the confines of their homes and practice yoga. And our yoga instructors used to lead them through the asanas, and not just the asanas, even the meditation and the pranayama techniques, of course. The result was that we've been receiving a lot of appreciation letters from our students saying because of these classes, they could cope with the stress and, that was there everywhere because of the pandemic. There was another interesting anecdote that one of our yoga volunteers shared. One of his former students, she went back to her home country. She lives abroad, and their coronavirus had become very, it had spread very widely, and she had developed symptoms, and she was very worried. And she called up her former teacher, and she said, "What can I do about this?" And then he advised her to take some Ayurvedic herbal decoctions, which even our Ayush ministry, the government of India, suggests, and it has put up details of these immunity boosting decoctions on its website as well. So he did suggest that, and he also taught her what the pranayama techniques and meditation techniques to de-stress, and of course she recovered in a short period of time. I would say that promoting yoga in an integrated approach, as Madam Vijayalakshmi rightly said, promoting yoga, practicing yoga in all its aspects, not just the asana part, but also the pranayama, asana, dhyana, mudra, pranayama, as I say, the different aspects of yoga can benefit the world in a very big way. While the West has taken to the asana part very well, and the East has imbibed the meditation part because of the huge Buddhist influence. As you know, yoga and Buddhism are meditative systems, and they have a lot of commonalities. And when I say Western East, it does not mean just geographically, it's also an attitude, the mindset. I believe India has a large role to play in bringing an integrated approach to yoga to the world, thereby, providing a holistic approach or solutions to health challenges that the world faces today. I'd like to end my talk here. Thank you once again for inviting me to speak at this event, and wish you all the best with the rest of your programs. Thank you.